Good afternoon from Lexington, Kentucky at Collins Bowling Center. It's the 2016 Bradley Open, co-titled sponsor by Hammer Bowling and New Center Consulting Incorporated. Mike Flanagan here with you along with Dave Wodka and Matt Turek as we present to you the match play bracket, the round of 8 coming up right here on InsideBowling.com. Gentlemen, we have 8 players out of about 160 or so combatants here, and we're down to 8 players in 8 different match play matches, best 2 out of 3 to move forward. Welcome, guys.
Glad to be back.
Yep.
Glad to be calling the finals. Should be some good action here.
Taking a look at Aaron Lorincz. Aaron Lorincz taking on Brian Robinson. Aaron Lorincz is the 3 seed, Robinson the 6 seed. Also over there on 19 and 20, we have Brandon Hott, who is our high qualifier, taking on the 8th seed, Joshua Berry. Just coming into your screen, you just saw Chris Vi. Chris coming off a U.S. Amateur Championship in Las Vegas at Team Trials. He is the 4 seed, taking on Brian Dennis, the 5 seed. And in our other matchup, down on lanes 29 and 30 also, as we click around and we bring you all the coverage, our 2 seed Brandon Novak taking on Cory Gilbert, and Gilbert up right now, the southpaw, on lane 29.
Brandon Novak, our defending champion here as well. Do we know, has anybody repeated back-to-back years? Do we know that?
I don't think so.
Yes, Tracy Lamberth in 1994 and 1995.
So it's been 20 years since we've had somebody defend their title here.
However, Brian Dennis has won this event before. Brian Dennis has won back in 2008 from Durham, North Carolina. Brian Dennis, as we mentioned, is taking on Chris Vi.
And Brian Dennis bowled 266 the last game just to get in to the top 8. We're looking to capitalize on that.
And there is a look at Brian. This lane pattern is one of the most brutal lane patterns I've ever seen in my life. It's 44 milliliters of oil and 46 feet in length. And Dave Wodka, you had a chance to bowl this week and bowl on this pattern. Would you say it's one of the toughest you've ever bowled on?
Yeah, I would actually. I mean, generally the U.S. Open patterns are the hardest patterns we bowl on. But your ball at least hooks at some point. And here, your ball really doesn't hook. It has got to be online, and there is just no other way to say it. So, yeah, I would say this is definitely one of the more challenging patterns I've ever bowled on.
Remember, this is the best 2 out of 3, so when a player wins or loses this match, it is not over. They have to win 2 to advance. We have 8 bowlers here right now. This morning we had 40 players take to the lanes. Their 5-pin carryover from last night came with them this morning. And these are the top 8. And at the end of the round, Dave, it was really, really close and tight. E.J. Tackett just missed in 9th position.
He did. He caught a really bad pair, struggled the last game, had a chance to double in the 10th to remain in and did not. And, here we are with these 8 bowlers. And just to give you a little hint about how difficult the lanes are, there was 40 bowlers this morning with their pins carried over from last night, and we cut to 8 bowlers, and the cut was only +7. And so there was only 8 people basically that averaged 200 for this tournament.
Yeah, 200.8.
Which is just brutal.
It really is.
And we're going to get a look at Chris Vi right here, getting up in the 3rd frame on a double. It's a pretty good start.
And everybody bowls for the prestige since this tournament's been going since 1979. Some elite champions over the years, as you alluded to earlier in our broadcast, Dave. Brian Kretzer, Bob Belmont, Brian Graham has won this event. Ted Hanna's, George Pappas. Tony Lambert, the only person to win 3 times. Brian Walczak, Brad Snell, Dan McClellan, Tom Smallwood, Tommy Jones, and last year's champion Brandon Novak has a chance to repeat this year. Brandon bowled the only 300 game of the tournament. He received a $1,000 bonus courtesy of Early Wine Painting Contractors. Greg Early Wine was here earlier today, and we interviewed him, and he's dedicated to scratch bowling, just like the rest of our sponsors, and we'll get to those in just a little bit as we're early on game number 1 of these 3-game elimination matches. Once again, if you're just joining us, Mike Flanagan, Dave Wodka, and Matt Turek. Matt clicking the cameras for us. A lot of action going, Matt.
Yeah, it's fast and furious up here. I'm going to try and bring coverage of every shot.
We'll do our best on that one.
Yeah, as long as they've been pretty good about not being up at the same time, but we might miss one or two.
We just saw our tournament leader, Brandon Hott, who just left the 1-2-4 and did not convert. He obviously didn't leave too many of the 1-2-4s the rest of the weekend so far.
Good looking shot over there by, I got my notes here, by Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson is 26 years old. He's from West Virginia. He is a member of the 900 Global staff. He cashed at the U.S. Open this year. He's also finished 3rd in a couple of regionals, and he's been bowling since he's been 2 years old. He also says that straighter is greater, and he grew up idolizing Norm Duke and Walter Ray. That's Brian Robinson taking on Aaron Lorincz on 21 and 22. As you get a look at Brian Robinson, Brian came in as the 6th seed. He finished at plus 21 through his 10 games of qualifying. So a 202.1 average, and that's a good-looking double there out of Brian. Over to Novak, and as we said, Novak won last year, shot 300 this year. Comes in as the 2 seed, probably the favorite to win. Novak's 27 years old from Chillicothe, Ohio. He bowls full-time. He likes to play a little golf, and he likes to spend some time at the casino. He likes to play blackjack and 3-card poker.
I like 3-card poker.
There's Aaron Lorincz. I know his mom's probably watching in the chat. If you want to spread the word about today's broadcast, hashtag InsideBowling, at InsideBowling on Twitter and Instagram, and as well as subscribing to our YouTube channel. You're watching it right here. We also can tell you about our event information tabs down below on InsideBowling.com if you want to find out the prize payout and how your favorite bowler fared in this tournament.
Yeah, every bowler here that you see of this top 8 is going to at least take home $1,200.
Yeah, and I'll go over that breakdown. The winner today will receive $10,000. Second place will receive $4,000. Third and fourth receive the same prize, $2,000. And as you alluded to, Matt, it's $1,200 for 5th through 8th.
Not terrible for the top 8 for a $300 entry fee.
Not at all. You see Josh Berry just opened up. That's his first open through 4 frames. Josh Berry, I got to know him a little bit. He's 32 years old. This is his biggest finish in his career. This is a big deal for him. He's from Glasgow, Kentucky. If he were to win the tournament, he said that he'd pay off his 2005 Chrysler 300. He says that's a car for a bowler with 300 in the title. He also
I got a 200. There may be a correlation.
Well,
there.
that makes a lot of sense. And then he's got a 7-year-old son, Gabriel, and he just liked Mike Albee when he was growing up bowling. Works at Highlander Bowl full time. He does it all. Works a snack bar, runs calls in the back, helps manages at time. Here's Chris Vi. He's the stud of the field. He's the up-and-coming superstar. Just came off a win down at the Suncoast Casino in Las Vegas and Bowling Center. Team USA amateur champion. A little more about Chris. He grew up idolizing Norm Duke. He's 23 years old. He's from Springfield, Ohio. If he were to win the tournament, he said he would pay off all his student loans or at least start to dive into that a little bit.
That's a good idea.
He's from Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Lucky break there.
Actually, he's from Springfield, Ohio. I'm sorry. Brian Dennis's opponent's from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We'll get to him in a minute.
Re-racks galore on the left side.
So looks like we've got Corey Gilbert. He's the only bowler up at this time. As you can see the scoreboard, he's looking for a triple. And he stuffs an 8-pin. He's got a really good ball roll right now, though. Cory is involved with EBI Products with the track brand. He's from Dixon, Tennessee. He's 27 years old. This is his biggest finish. He's been bowling for 22 years. He grew up idolizing Parker Bone III. Plans on bowling the Masters this year. If he were to win, he said that he would pay off some bills.
It's a good idea, too.
Your tournament leader, Brandon Hott. Brandon Hott finished 142 over, and the closest to him was 69 over, which was Novak. So I mentioned that Novak may be the favorite, but Hott, coming into this, was red hot.
With 2 T's.
They're involved in a very close match down there on 19 and 20. As you can see the scoreboards, we've got them up for you. Good job on putting all that together, Matt.
Thanks, Mike. It wasn't too hard this time.
Looks like we're over on lane 21. Brian Robinson in a match with Aaron Lorincz, and Robinson looking to put a hurting on Lorincz early. You can go for the 4-bagger. Comes in light for the 7, still a good shot. Aaron Lorincz is clean through 5. Chris Vi bowling extremely well over on lanes 27 and 28. Playing the outside par lane. Now he stuffs a 9-pin.
Wow.
He's got a commanding lead in that match. Brandon Novak leaves the 10. And he's looking could possibly go down 1-0 against the southpaw, Gilbert. That's a close match down there on 29 and 30. And Brian Robinson misses the 7-pin. An open frame for Brian Robinson. Joshua Berry up on lane 20. Comes in light for the 2-pin. They are really just about dead even down that match. If he converts this, he'll have a 1-pin lead over the number 1 seed, Brandon Hott, early on. Remember, folks, if you're just joining us, it's best 2 out of 3. Best 2 out of 3 to advance. We have 8 bowling now. It'll go down to 4, and then we'll have our championship 2 out of 3. The bowlers will use 27 and 28 and 21 and 22 for the next round, and then they'll move over to a fresh pair of lanes 23 and 24 for the finals. We're glad you're with us. Tell your friends. Appreciate everybody coming in and being part of today's webcast. Chris Vi still has a possible 247 left. He should get the win over Brian Dennis. He's already got him locked out. So Chris Vi is going to go up 1-0.
Just chopped the 3-6-10. On down to Brandon Hott. These are fresh pairs, Ricky. Fresh pairs, they bowl. I think so. I thought they were there. They don't know. Bowl on fresh from here on out. Back to Chris Vi. It was a good looking shot, great looking shot at that.
Brandon Novak can strike out for 206 down here on 29 and 30. Spare is very important for Gilbert, and he missed it.
197 is the total.
Dave Wodka back with us. I started a little deal here.
All right.
Where we can just write down the scores and then circle if they win.
Perfect. I will take care of it. I'm just here for statistician.
Dave, if you were to look at these bowlers, is there one that stands out to you that you feel like has an advantage over the rest of the group?
Well, I think there's two for a couple different reasons. My first one would be Brandon Novak, just strictly based on the fact that he's defending champion and he's got a lot of confidence in this building. My other one would be Chris Vi, actually. Coming off a U.S. National Amateur Championship just a few days ago, coming straight here, bowled a big last game to get in. He's probably bowling with a lot of confidence. And when the lanes are this hard, I think confidence is of utmost importance. You have to be confident.
I would agree with you. And coming off that big win, we saw some people come in and not bowl so great here, trying to come back from Vegas so quickly. But Chris has been able to overcome that, and it looks like we've got one final and game number 2 already underway on 29 and 30.
Cory Gilbert defeated Brandon Novak 197 to 178 in game 1. So Cory Gilbert up 1-0 in that match.
That's strange.
Aaron Lorincz just runs by the 9-pin.
You don't see that very often out of him.
We saw
very good spare.
We saw Brian Robinson miss a 7 in that match as well. So sometimes it comes in droves. They're contagious sometimes.
They are. You are absolutely correct. And we've got another final. Chris Vi defeats Brian Dennis 211 to 159. So Chris Vi will go up 1. So I had half of my picks right the first game. I think if I had to pick a sleeper that, you think about a long pattern, really heavy pattern, ball doesn't hook very much, Aaron Lorincz will surprise you on patterns like that. The one TV show he made on tour was actually on the Badger, on the 52-foot pattern.
That's right.
So it's something you might not think about as somebody that maybe is a little bit straighter, bowling good on the longer patterns, but because he keeps it online, it's sometimes better for him. He's going to need a little help to win this first game.
Yeah, and he opens with a double. Brandon Novak, that is. I just watched that raw urge go down the lane and strike perfectly over to the right.
Right. Chris Vi picking up a spare to start game 2. And Brian Robinson. And that's pretty much going to do it for that match. Brian Robinson now in the 2 teens, even with an open. Is that right? Yeah, he's in the 2 teens, even with an open. So Brian Robinson's going to take a 1-0 lead on Aaron Lorincz. And then we've actually got a pretty close match in our 4th match down there. Very low scoring. Close match, but very, very low scoring.
Yeah, and this will be the last time we'll see 19 and 20 and 29 and 30 in this event. We say bye-bye to them after this round.
Brandon Hott with a strike. So he is actually up 11 pins through 8 frames in that first game.
Brandon's from Largo, Florida. He went to Weber International.
He did. He bowled on a national championship team at Weber.
Was Gary Faulkner on that team
Gary
too?
Faulkner was on that team. Gary Faulkner's the one that struck in the 10th to win.
Oh, I thought I remember something about that.
Cory Gilbert off to a little bit of a rough start this game. Spare open strike while Brandon Novak started with a double. Brandon using a Arson High Flare solid now.
Oh, yeah, he sure is. I saw the yellow on that ball. I always like the bowling balls that have two contrasting colors. Makes it look like they hook more.
It can work both ways. It can make you look like you have more or less rev rate, actually.
That's true. Depending on how clumpy the pattern is, I guess. Thank you, Jarvin, in the chat.
And we're going to get a final score for Brian Robinson of 232. That's a really good game. So he will take the 1-0 lead on Aaron Lorincz. Brandon Hott doubled in the 8th and 9th, so he's now up 21 in this game. And Joshua Berry leaves a 2-4-5.
Just joining us, it's best 2 out of 3. We're in game number 1 of the round of 8. Mike Flanagan, Dave Wodka, and Matt Turek here with you.
Get a look at Aaron finishing out this game. He looks lined up. Looks like he just had some carry issues that first game. And you see Novak and Chris Vi both leaving the bucket there. It's just so easy for your ball to miss right and not get all the way there. Good spare by both Novak and Vi making the bucket. And Joshua Berry with leaves the 3-6 in the 10th. Spares it.
Maybe a ball change here on a fill.
Yeah, I would think he would change balls, try something. Brandon Hott does not even need a mark to win that game, so Brandon Hott's going to take a 1-0 lead. So we'll give you a quick rundown of game 1. Cory Gilbert defeats Brandon Novak to go up 1-0. Brian Robinson defeats Aaron Lorincz to go up 1-0. Chris Vi over Brian Dennis, and Brandon Hott over Joshua Berry.
So some of these pairs may be taken out of play after this game if someone can win 2-0. A lot of these matches do go 3, though, for whatever reason it is.
It is funny when you do 2 out of 3 matches. That it's amazing how many of them.
Game.
Yeah, it's amazing how many of them actually do go all 3 games.
How you doing, Matt?
Good, good.
Glad you could join us.
Lots of clicking. I'm probably not going to talk too much.
He's doing a great job keeping the action going here. It's a tricky job when multiple people are on the approach. You're doing great, Matt. Thank you.
And I will give you a final score of the Brandon Hott Joshua Berry match when that ends.
I believe they're waiting for a ball return. I think he's got it back now.
I've seen more lefties on 29 and 30 leave 6 pins today. For whatever reason, because I always sit in this seat and it's always out of the right side of my eyesight. A lot of 6 pins over there, 29 and 30.
And it's going to be 148 for Joshua Berry this game.
Not a great start. You know, a lot of times, too, this is the first time bowlers have bowled on a live stream, and they know that there's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of people watching.
Right.
And it can be a little intimidating.
Yeah, you never know what's going through their head at that point.
Oh, boy.
And Cory Gilbert misses the 6-pin.
He sure did.
That is something that you cannot do when the lanes are this hard. 1-pin spares, you just can't miss them. Lane pattern doesn't matter for 1-pin spares. You can't blame the lane pattern for that.
Wow.
Chris Vi with a very fortunate break, rolling the 2-pin out of there. And Brandon Novak with the messenger.
Novak's just got that ball roll that works really well on these twister pins, it seems like to me. I've seen him compete at the Proprietors Cup as well, and they have twister pins at Beaverview, or at least they used to.
Yes, they still do.
And
that's actually where I practice at.
Okay.
They still do have twisters. Yes, in the chat, Aaron Lorin's final score was 195. We've got these matches on the right two pairs are going much faster than the matches on the left two pairs.
Yes, they are.
They're already halfway through game 2, and these other matches have just started.
They've got dinner reservations at home tonight at 6 o'clock.
Final score is Brandon Hott 179 and Joshua Berry 148 in that match.
So I know you took us around to recap. We'll give the totals. Brandon Hott 179, Josh Berry 148. Brandon up 1-0. Brian Dennis is defeated by Chris Vi in the first match, 211 to 159. Vi takes the 1-0 lead. Aaron Lorincz bowled a very respectable 195. Brian Robinson bowled 232 at him, so Robinson up 1-0 early on in match 2. And Cory Gilbert defeats Brandon Novak 197, 178, but Brandon Novak's coming back strong, down on 29 and 30.
Brandon's got a 41-pin lead through 6 frames now.
Also, if you do want to keep track of the scores, 2 places. You can go to InsideBowling.com and click on the event information tabs, and you can also go over to ScratchBowling.com, and they're also putting the scores in there as well. Lorincz with the spare. 2016 Bradley Open Elimination Bracket round of 8. We'll go down to 4 and then down to 2. Once again, $10,000 be awarded to the champion today. Bradley's been going on since 1979. It's the 37th year. Okay, first shot on 19 and 20. Brandon Hott.
Brandon Hott made a ball change in the 10th frame last game to see something different, but then went back to the ball he was throwing and knocks the 7-9 out of there.
Cory Gilbert's battled back in this match on 29 and 30.
Chris Vi with a strike there, down 19 through 6 frames in this match, and Brandon Novak just missed the 2-5 to give Cory Gilbert a little bit of life there.
Yeah, possible 231 max score left for Novak.
224 left for Cory Gilbert. So what was a 41-pin match is now 17.
It can happen.
27.
Cory Gilbert down there left the 3-pin on his delivery. So Novak should be okay.
Yep, no. Brandon will have a 28-pin lead through 8 frames if Cory makes the spare. Chris Vi with a strike there to get back within 9, as he was down 19. Big double there.
And this is not total pins either. This is just you have to win 2 matches.
Yeah, so you can lose by 100 one game and it's okay. Brian Dennis leaves the 2-8. That is a not very easy spare on this. So now leads by 7 pins in that match. And Cory Gilbert through the face for a 2-4. With a max score of 191, Brandon Novak will just need 1 mark in the last 2 frames to shut that game 2 out and force a game 3.
Aaron Lorincz looks really good out there.
He does. I said he was lined up the first game, just had some carry issues. He's still looking pretty good.
Got an observation here in the chat also from Ricky Matsko. He says, look at the extreme line difference between 19 and 20 for Brandon. So we'll keep an eye on that. 29 and 30. Brandon Novak and Cory Gilbert are going to be tied 1 apiece.
And Chris Vi, this is to take a 3-pin lead in this game too. And a great shot, and he does it.
Saw Lorincz left the 7-pin. He's throwing at that now. Covers that up. Novak, kind of a funny hit there. 10-pin fell forward.
That was a little odd.
Looks like Brian Robinson's going to go first here before Chris Vi.
Ooh, and a big split. Chris Vi to take a 13-pin lead. And a 4-pin.
Leans on it.
So he's going to be up 2 pins. However, Brian Dennis can get up and shut him out with strikes in the 9th and 10th frames.
There's Dennis playing deep inside on lane 19 and playing much further to the right on 20.
No split conversion for Brian Robinson. Aaron Lorincz now up 13 pins through 4 frames in game 2. So Brian Dennis needs a strike in the 9th and the first strike in the 10th to shut out Chris Vi and force a game 3. Anything less than that, and Chris will have a chance to get up and win. 231 final score for Brandon Novak. That will be going to game 3.
Brandon bowled 178 the first game. Nice rebound.
And another split for Brian Robinson with a kind of a weird hit there for a 9-10. Looked like a 4-9 hit, turned into a 9-10. And Brian Dennis just got up there and split the 8-9 on that one.
Yeah, he did.
So one more to force a game 3 there.
I was really impressed with his 266 he bowled the last game to get in. He kind of did it while, I mean, there was a lot of action going around. He kind of did it silently.
Yeah.
It was like all of a sudden, oh, he bowled 266.
I knew he had the front 5, and then the next time I asked you to look for the update, it was, oh, he had 266.
Yeah.
And Cory Gilbert will finish with 177, I believe, 176.
231 for Novak, 176 for Gilbert. 1-1, they're going to a game 3.
And for the shutout, oh, Brian Dennis with a 4-6. So that is actually only going to make Chris Vi get a mark in the 10th now to shut that match out 2-0. Another good shot by Aaron Lorincz. Soft 10, but he's keeping it in the pocket. Joshua Berry just missed a 7-pin.
We're going to leave it here on Chris Vi as he makes the opportunity to advance to the next round.
213 final for Brian Dennis. Chris Vi needs a mark in the 10. Any kind of mark will be enough to advance to the round of 4.
Not a gimme, though, on this.
Absolutely not.
He is clean through 9 frames.
And leaves a 10-pin.
He's
Really good shot.
Yeah, he's going to need it.
Just got to make the 10-pin to advance to the round of 4. Chris is a very good spare shooter. I fully expect he's going to make this and shut the match out. Brandon Hott has a 23-pin lead through 5 frames in game 2.
Needs this to advance.
And
Covers it.
No problem at all. I'm going to go ahead and say he can get 6 for the win.
So Brian
he
Dennis?
He does need 6. I'm going to go ahead and say he can get 6.
Brian Dennis will be our first player eliminated. He'll receive $1,200 for his efforts here at the 2016 Bradley Open. Cory Gilbert maybe feeling a little bit, misses a single pin.
And 218 to 213, Chris Vi. Chris Vi will advance.
Congratulations to Chris. Chris is going to receive at least $2,000 today. $300 entry fee at this tournament. As we said, $10,000 on top. Courtesy of New Center Consulting and Hammer. Nothing hits like a hammer. Thank you for your sponsorship.
Brandon Novak started with a strike, looking to get an early double after Cory Gilbert missed a 1-pin spare in the first frame. And a solid 9. And Aaron Lorincz with an open in the 6th frame.
Yeah, he missed the 1-2-8.
Okay, let Brian Robinson get a little life back in it. Brian goes up, makes a pretty good shot for a 4-pin. Joshua Berry's in trouble down there. He is down 33. Brandon Hott's got a chance to get up and throw the next 2 strikes to make it a 53-pin game and pretty much lock up that match and advance to the round of 4 to face Chris Vi.
Yeah, the way the bracket does shake out, the winner of the Hott Berry match will go on to bowl Chris Vi. Lorincz and Robinson match will go on to take on the winner of Gilbert and Novak.
And Brandon Hott leaves the washout 1-2-10.
So just like that, when the guy's about to put his foot on the other guy's throat, something like that happens.
If he happens to not convert here, it put Josh Berry right back in the match. And he does not convert. So that he is now up 18 pins. Josh Berry will have a chance to get up and throw a double to cut it to single digits and try to stay alive. Brian Robinson with a 2-10 and an open, so did not take advantage of Aaron Lawrence's miscue. Cory Gilbert followed up his 9 out with a double.
Yeah, it's always an important thing to do. I always told myself that if I bowled a tournament and I missed a single pin spare, you want to get a double to make up for that.
Yeah, that's and now turns it into a triple. You have to have amnesia when you bowl. Whatever you just did is behind you. Nothing you can do about it.
You have to have hand warmers to be in the center where we are right now too.
You could be outside in Minnesota right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel pretty good in here. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm warming up. Lots of clicking.
Joshua Berry did just get a strike, so he throw the one in the 9th here to make it just an 8-pin match.
It's crazy when you got 4 matches happening at one time.
Yeah, it's a little bit to keep up with. But,
I remember doing the Reed Hawthorne a couple years ago, and we had a senior match, a women's match, and a men's match. 3 was tough. 4 is crazy. I live in Utah right now, and they always talk about the Mormons having multiple wives. No thanks. It's too much.
And Joshua Berry did strike in the 9th, so we have a match over there. He's going to make Brandon Hott perform to close this match out. Aaron Lawrence with another good shot there. Ring 7 for Cory Gilbert after Brandon Novak got up and just put a triple on him. So 12-pin match there.
And that is an elimination game.
Yes, it is.
Win or go home in that match. The other 2 matches that we have are still in their second game.
And Brandon Hott getting up here to try to make that lead back to 18 pins this game.
If you're just joining us, Chris Vi has advanced. He defeated Brian Dennis 2-0.
And a great shot by Brandon, but a blower 7. So the situation there is now no matter what Brandon does in the 10th, he cannot shut Joshua Berry out. Josh has the opportunity to force a game 3 now, no matter what happens in the 10th frame.
I think Brian Robinson and Aaron Lorincz in their match, they have the slowest ball speeds out of everybody that's bowling, I think. They're really trying to make that ball work off the end of the pattern. 46 feet in length.
Is that why that match has taken so long?
I think so. You know, is it true that the ball return, the speed of the ball coming back is the same speed that it traveled down the lane? That's why Oscar Palermo's always gets his bowling ball faster than anyone. I heard that. I wasn't sure.
I can't verify that. And Cory Gilbert with the errant shot there leaves the 1-3-6-10. And Brandon Hott with a Brooklyn leaves the 5-9. So at this point, if he makes the spare, now Josh Berry just needs the first hit in the 10th.
Yep.
And some count.
Decent count, yep. Okay, covers it up, so looks like
he's got a chance to finish with 193.
So he needs
Brandon Novak just left the 1-2-8 and took the 1-8 off of it, and now only leads by 1 pin in that elimination game.
wow.
So, if Brandon Hott strikes here on the fill, then Josh Berry would need strike 7 spare to win. And he gets 9, so Josh Berry's going to need the first hit and then 6 spare.
Novak strikes in the 7th.
Maintains a 1-pin lead.
Camaraderie down there, too, giving each other 5.
Aaron Lorincz going to shut out this game, so that will go to a game 3. Josh Berry for a chance to extend the match, and does not.
Comes up short.
Brandon Hott will win that with 192.
So that side of the bracket is determined. Brandon Hott's going to bowl Chris Vi. And they're going to bowl on 21 and 22.
Cory Gilbert with a strike over there. So through 7 frames in that game 3 elimination match, 1-pin lead for Brandon Novak, both on strikes in the 7th frame.
Doesn't get any closer than that. Pretty good shot. I've been impressed with this guy.
He's been hanging right in there. And Aaron Lorincz, despite an open in the 10th for 176, has shut out Brian Robinson, so that will go to a game 3. Final score of the Brandon Hott Joshua Berry match is 192 to 185. And Cory Gilbert just missed the 10-pin to now give Brandon Novak a 13-pin lead. And he's getting up to throw a double, can make it a 23-pin lead through 8 frames. Once again, 1-pin spares.
Novak comes in light. 2-4.
2-4-8.
Yep, 2-4-8. 1-2-4-6-10 on 22.
2-4-8's not the easiest spare on this either.
No, it's not.
He converts it. So still a 13-pin lead for Brandon Novak with 2 frames to go.
He's shaking his head, too.
And Brian Robinson going to throw his fill ball here. Then they will get going on game 3.
So the Novak match will be finished here shortly, and we will basically have one game that we'll be commentating. All 4 started at the same time, but they're all ending differently.
Great shot there by Brandon Novak in the 9th frame to set up the 10th and make sure that he has the match in his own hands. He will determine the outcome.
Cory Gilbert in a must-strike situation here, Dave?
Yes. He's gonna need all of them. He's got to strike out to force Brandon to get the first one in the 10th. Brooklyn doesn't shake the 4-pin over. So he's got to make this and double to force Brandon to get a mark now. And first shot of game 3 by Aaron Lorincz. 2-4. Barely made that 4-pin. So he is definitely in a must-strike situation. Cory Gilbert's got to have a double in the 10th to have any chance of winning this game 3.
So far, the seedings have rang true. 4th seed Vi defeated Brian Dennis. He will advance and has advanced to take on Brandon Hott, the 1 seed, defeating the 8th seed, and Joshua Berry.
And a 310 for Cory Gilbert, and that should pretty much do it. Brandon Novak's just going to need 8 pins on his first ball, no matter what, if Cory Gilbert makes this spare. It's a good spare. I guess, a strike, you never know. Still going to make him get 8 pins. I have seen crazier things happen.
That would be 8 on 2 balls.
2 balls,
yeah.
Yes.
Happy you're with us. Thanks for coming in and watching the 2016 Bradley Open with us, Matt Turek, Dave Wodka, and myself, Mike Flanagan, here in the elimination bracket, round of 8. He does fill it up, so you never know.
Yeah. Brandon Novak's going to need 8 on 2 balls to shut out that match and advance to the round of 4 and await the winner of Aaron Lorincz and Brian Robinson.
Robinson just chopped off the 3 off the 6. Would you throw it hard and straight down the middle here, Dave?
Probably. Need an 8 on 2 balls. It hard and straight down the middle eliminates the Greek church or 4 out of the middle.
Right.
Even
All right. Looks like Brandon is going to advance. 9 is enough.
Yes, it is.
So Cory Gilbert's going to receive $1,200 for his efforts. He'll finish in the 5th through the 8th range. $1,200 for each 5th through 8th. Thanks for coming. Great bowling. And a decent payday for you.
And Brian Robinson not off to a very good start in this game 3. Chopped the 3 off the 6 and now a 5-count washout. I'm going to say he's really got to make this. You don't want to get that far behind that early in a closeout game. A great spare by Brian Robinson.
So who's it going to be? Is it going to be Lorincz or is it going to be Robinson?
Well, we're going to find out in about 9 frames.
Who's your pick in the chat? Let us know.
Final score for the Brandon Novak was 204, I believe. The score is already shut off. I believe it was 204 to 190.
That sounds right. He got 9 on his fill.
Yeah, that would be 204 then. Strike there for Aaron Lorincz. Now looking to take a 21-pin lead early.
So Vi and Hott are going to bowl each other on lanes 21 and 22. And Brandon Novak is going to take on the winner of this match over on 27 and 28.
Out the window for Aaron for the 1-2-4-8. Saw that a few times this week.
That's what I'm going to start doing, guys. Whenever.
CrossFit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
I have nothing to say. I'm speechless.
We're watching this on the television here. They've got some stuff on here, CrossFit on ESPN.
Okay, good spare there by Aaron Lorincz. Brian Robinson wasting no time.
Crossing over?
Not like that one. Lucky to just get a 3-pin.
Very lucky.
That's, as we might say, a lot of 9.
Niner. Never finer.
No problem with the spare.
12-pin match over there, lanes 21 and 2. It's a great opportunity to let everybody know about the other sponsors that we have. We have Brooks Electric Company, United American Supply, Midwest Scratch Bowling Series, Classic Products, Early Wine Painting Contractors, and the host hotel, the Hampton Inn, here in Lexington, Kentucky. Host Hotel, Hampton Inn.
Crossover for Brian for a 6-pin. He's going to have to figure something out here pretty quick. Aaron's been around the pocket, other than the one out the window shot there. He's been around the pocket the whole time.
The one thing that Aaron's going to have to make sure that he does is not miss too far in with the way he's playing the lanes, because then he runs the risk of leaving a split.
Right.
Like a nasty one, like a big 4 or a Greek church or something like that. 4-6.
No problem on the spare for Brian Robinson.
If Aaron goes in light, he's looking at 2-4-8s, 2 pins. Light pocket could be like a 5-7 though.
Right. And we've seen that a few times this week too.
Last night, Mitch Beasley's very first shot in the roll-off was a 5-7. Looks pretty good.
Wow.
Send $9.95 to P.O. Box.
Wow. You are evil. Wow. I'm calling the spare, though.
I'm telling you right now, that was a great shot by him.
It was a
though.
great shot. It just the angle and the amount of oil on the lanes. That can happen. I'm calling the spare, though.
Excellent spare shooter. Gets count.
Well, we have a tie ball game.
Yes, we do.
6-frame match now, all tied up.
So
see how Aaron can rebound off of that shot.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say.
Made a great shot.
do you try to pack one in there high flush now after leaving a 5-7 mentally? That's what he did. Now look, oh, this is terrible.
And that's exactly what happened. He tried to give that one a little extra to make sure it didn't 5-7, and he gets the 4-9.
Unbelievable.
So he's made 2 great shots now, and he's got 8-1, and now looking at the 4-9.
That sums up this oil pattern. Both shots, if you're bowling on anything medium or easy, those are both 9 or better.
Right. That's the thing on this. You don't even mind getting 9. So now an 11-pin lead for Brian Robinson. Went from down 11 to up 11, sitting on the bench for 2 frames.
Wow. Well, it'll be interesting to see if the game of bowling evens out, because Aaron Lorincz has bowled a phenomenal game, finds himself about to trail.
And Brian Robinson gets up, takes advantage of it with a great shot and a strike, and now a chance to take a 21-pin lead after 2 frames ago being down by 11.
I really think the worst break on this kind of pattern is when you leave a 4-9. I've been talking about it all weekend.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Ball's not really hooking to create any angle to leave that. Brian getting up in the 6th frame with a chance to take a 21-pin lead. And made a great shot, and unlike Aaron Lawrence, trips out the 4, only leaves the 9. So still an 11-pin lead with the spare.
I thought we were going to see another one back-to-back there.
Aaron's got to regroup here. He's got to just forget about those last 2 shots, know that he made 2 good shots, and get up there and make another one.
Aaron Lawrence is capable of going off the sheet with the look that he has right now. It's not out of the question.
Yeah, he's just got to get up there, know he threw 2 good shots, and try to repeat that again and make 2 more good ones. No problem with the conversion for Brian Robinson. And we'll see what Aaron does here. One thing I know, Aaron's going to make a good shot. He's going to make a good effort. Just a matter of whether the pins are going to cooperate or not.
Wouldn't surprise me if he does throw a bad shot that he finds a way to get a strike out of it. That's kind of how breaks work. They even out.
He likes it, and a great shot. And that's what you got to do. You just forget about the last 2, go make another good shot, and that time, 10 back.
That's a gutsy shot right there. He's composed.
So, strike here, cuts it back to 1 pin. Puts the pressure directly back on Brian Robinson.
Notice the players are wiping off their balls every single time, wiping all that oil off.
Yeah, I think that's a necessity when there's this much oil on the lane. You don't need any more of it on your ball. And the trip 4.
Look at that.
That's what you were talking about.
Absolutely.
That's where they even out. So he gets the trip 4 to make it a 1-pin game now.
The players can hear us over here in the booth, too, and I mentioned that Aaron Lawrence was capable of going off the sheet the way he's throwing the ball, and he looked over at me like I was crazy. He goes up and doubles. What would you rather have through that stretch there, Dave? Would you rather have 9 spare, 9 spare, 9 spare, 9 spare, or would you rather have a 5-7, 4-9, and then a double?
If I got more than my opponent, I don't care which way it is. Mentally, it's a little tougher when you throw 2 good shots and you get 8-1, 8-1. That's a little tougher mentally, I think. But you know what? Aaron handled it perfectly, got back up there and threw 2 great shots. Now Brian Robinson's going to step up to try to hang on to that 1-pin lead. Very quiet in here right now. No, he didn't like it. And Brooklyn. So we're back to a tie game. Brian's got to make the 6-pin to keep it at a tie game.
Ricky, I agree with your assessment of our mutual friend that throws the ball similar to Aaron Lorincz.
I suspect no problem here on the 6-pin. And we're all tied up through 7 frames.
Yeah, and if you look at max scores, which is typically my favorite way to add it up, you got a possible 226 for Lorincz, 216 for Robinson.
Lorincz being on the double actually has the 10-pin lead, or 10-pin hammer. No pun, no pun there.
We like the pun. I never really understood how they call with marks and that on higher up, because I never would want to be told that a guy has a lead in the match and then he strikes out and loses. I just never understood that.
That's a great shot right there by Brian Robinson.
That was a great shot.
So
That's for Brian Burkhart.
Maintains that tie. Now Aaron Lorincz with a chance to get up and take a lead.
It is the best of the 3 all the way through, even the finals. The last 2 will have to win 2 out of 3.
And another great shot by Aaron Lorincz.
That's a working ball right there. That's what they call the working ball.
Now a 10-pin lead.
He's going off the sheet because he didn't believe me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Approaching 300 viewers. Thank you. Firm.
And another trip 4.
That was right on line. It was firm.
Yep.
End over end roll.
And a 20-pin lead now. Now Brian Robinson pretty much in a must-strike situation here now.
Yeah, if he strikes out, he forces Aaron to go up and double in a 10th frame.
That is correct. Like a pretty good shot. And
he's got it. And the fist pump.
So
runs it out.
Now it's a 10-pin game going into the 10th. Both players on multiple strikes.
So this is it. Nobody else is bowling in the center. All eyes are on this match. They've already bowled 2 games. It was Robinson 232 over Lorincz 195 in game number 1. Game number 2, it was Lorincz 176 over Robinson 160. It's best 2 out of 3. Both players are taking plenty of time. Want to make sure they're absolutely set and ready.
Situation now, whatever Brian Robinson does in the 10th is what Aaron Lorincz will have to do in the 10th in order to win.
Oh, Robinson with the trip
with the
4.
trip 4.
What pin hit that?
With the big trip 4.
Now, if Robinson goes 9 spare and Lorincz goes 9 spare strike,
We have a tie.
we would have a tie.
That is correct. And a really good shot there. Ring 10 for Brian Robinson. So the situation now is Brian's got to make this spare. This is actually a very important pin for him to make here. If Brian makes the spare, Aaron Lorincz will need the first strike to win or 9 spare strike to tie. And he does make it.
What a great game.
Really good game there. Solid game. Both really good the last 7 frames of that game. So now Aaron Lorincz will need the first strike in the 10th here to advance to the round of 4. He likes it. Oh, and a solid 9. Wow.
Okay, so
Solid
here's the
9.
story.
Aaron's going to have to make the solid 9 spare and then strike to force a tie. No problem with the spare. Boy, Aaron's bowled an awfully good game. 5-7, a 4-9, now a solid 9 in the 10th. So must strike on this ball to force a tie and a roll-off. And high flush.
And we've got a tie, folks.
We've got a tie in game 3.
So what do we do now?
Do we know what the procedure is for the tie?
I do not.
I think Matt just went to find out for us.
9th and 10th?
So we have a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
9th and 10th frame roll-off, I was told. So that's been the story of the weekend. A lot of extra play. We had a roll-off for the 40th position last night. These two took the longest to get their match done, and of course it's not even enough time. Okay.
And looks like Aaron is going to start the match on the left lane. He will bowl his 9th frame. Then Brian Robinson will bowl the 9th and 10th, and Aaron will go over to the right lane to bowl the 10th. And a 2-5 to start for Aaron. Aaron to convert the spare. No problem at all.
9th and 10th frame roll-off to see who's going to advance to take on Brandon Novak. Maybe their strategy was to ice their opponent coming up in the next match.
I'm sure that's exactly what they were looking for.
That was a dandy of a match just right there.
That was a great finish. Well, let's see what Brian Robinson gets for this first shot here in the 9th and 10th frame roll-off. And a great shot, 10 back.
Thanks, Ricky.
So if Robinson strikes here, is it over, Dave?
No, it is not. He would have to strike on the first two in the 10th.
First two.
Yes.
Okay. That's right.
Aaron can still get 50.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we don't do the 9th and 10th frame roll-offs on tour anymore. It's
No.
all one ball. So don't see this very often anymore. Okay. Going to start over.
$10,000 at stake. Take all the time you want.
Brian again would need a double here in the 10th to shut out Aaron. He likes it. And it's a great shot. 10 back again. So now Brian Robinson has a chance to shut the match out with Aaron not even getting another chance to get up on the lane.
Yeah, but you really wouldn't think that'd be the case with what we've been bowling on here.
Correct.
I mean, this is pretty impressive.
This is the last 7 frames of that game, and so far here has been a pretty impressive display by both of these guys.
Yeah, well, I say we just give it to these guys. Back up and go home.
You gotta feel a little bit for Aaron with the breaks he had last game, but
no question.
And wow, that's a great shot. Wow, what a 3 great shots in the roll-off. Needs 1 pin. I'm pretty sure he can get 1 pin. Stay behind the line.
Impressive performance. Impressive performance. He earned it. And once again, Aaron Lorincz keeping the ball in play, gets snake bitten again, and it's not going to advance.
And 59. So Brian Robinson will advance to face Brandon Novak. And that match will be on lanes 27 and 28.
Yes, it will. Dave Wodka, you going to stick around with us?
Yeah.
Dave will be here. I'll be here. Matt will be here. And we're going to leave the stream on. We're going to get our camera set for our round of 4 matches coming up here shortly. We'll be back with you here in just a moment here from Lexington, Kentucky, here at the 2016 Bradley Open.